We've been hearing for a really long time that Internet of Things, IoT, is going to change a lot of our lives, if not all of our lives. There's early technology and early examples out there, but as consumers and businesses, we haven't really seen it change our lives yet. Lucas, your business, OneCharge, is focused on the autonomous vehicle, the electrical vehicle industry, and charging stations for that industry, and there's a lot of Internet of Things applications specifically related to that. And Manav, more generally at Brinc, you've got a number of different sectors you're focused on, but in the automotive industry, a number of investments in your incubator format where you're taking a stake in businesses and helping accelerate IoT to get to marketplace. So Manav, I want to start with you. What do you think we're going to see first in Internet of Things in automotive?
IoT really is about understanding the data in the environment. And I think the better we can understand the data, the better we can enable better solutions. And there's a whole range of new types of applications that are getting rolled out. For example, we're investing in a company called Skybrowse that works with police and law enforcement to help them do forensics of car crashes. And they can do it 98% faster than a police officer can. And they can do that in a manner that allows them to get better data.
What's going to be involved in actually getting all of those different elements around a car accident scene, for example, connected? The vehicles, the lights, the roads, everything connected.
There's a tremendous amount of connectivity that needs to be brought to market. Not only are we talking about connecting device to device, we're also talking about opening up the pipes, whether it's wired or wireless, to enable that kind of broadband connectivity. So 5G is on the horizon. Up until 5G, there's a whole range of additional technologies such as Wi-Fi, low-band Wi-Fi, LoRa, Sigfox, etc., that are all being rolled out. But ultimately, the biggest challenge right now is bringing back a very simple way to connect the devices, to have the devices speak to each other. Each one of those applications has to slowly start opening up their data sets, because ultimately we have to realize we're all working to solve a problem together.
And on that note, Lucas, what you're doing in terms of solving a big problem, the fossil fuel emissions issues we have in global warming and climate change, you're tackling the aspect of the automotive industry to move us to an electric platform more quickly. How does your platform work?
So we're trying to deploy our hardware to different parking space. So whenever it connects to a system, we can help them to monitor all the status of the chargers. And the drivers can easily find a parking space and they charge immediately when they reach to a destination and pay within our app.
You talk about how there's only one charging station for 5 electric vehicles, so there's quite limited availability today. What's the pace that we need to roll these out?
We have identified what's the problem, and actually it's the incentive that we can provide to the property developers. So they can gather more customer data, they can get to know their customer better, and showing some promotion to the customers. Here is what we're trying to push the EV charger numbers, because when they have incentive, they may be like, maybe we can put more chargers and adopt more EV drivers to our shopping malls.
Manav, in your portfolio of automotive companies, where does machine learning enter the equation?
Most of the companies we were investing there were primarily focused on machine learning or AI. So they're just deploying that now through new mediums and new types of technologies. So it's really across the board. Like we look at this almost in every single company. The hardest part in the beginning is just figuring out what's the problem you're looking to solve. How are you going to solve that? What's the data you're trying to gather? What's the industry that you can make an impact and improve? But beyond that, this is a long-term play, right? You have to spend a tremendous amount of time to understand the data sets. This is why I think IoT is today still in its infancy if you look at the overall kind of adoption, because these data sets are still being gathered.
And Lucas, where does machine learning enter your solution?
We have 2 different ways to use our machine learning. So we have monitoring. So whenever problems happen in our chargers, we can first spot it, and our machine learning will identify what kind of problem it is. Maybe it's just a system failure, we can reboot it, or we can restart the chargers and get the analytics report. Then we can ask our engineer to look for it, so it can reduce a lot of human power in this process. And also in computer vision, we gather around the license plate and the car characteristic, and we can match our user. And whenever the user park in our chargers, they don't need to pick up their mobile app, they just park and charge.